All
Yeah,
good.
all good.
Thanks for doing it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where you at, man?
San Diego,
Oh, cool.
California. Where are you at?
Awesome. San Francisco? Well,
San
San
Francisco.
Mateo.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I
Do
lived
you,
up in the Bay Area a bit, or for a while.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a particular place. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in like the East Bay for a number of years working.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Where,
So
like in Oakland or?
yeah, even like more east, like Walnut Creek and
Oh, okay. Got it.
what's down there? Pleasanton, maybe? I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
That's as East Bay as it gets, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Well, are you originally from San Francisco or the Bay
San
Area of
Mateo.
San
Yeah,
Mateo?
I
Are you
was
from
born
there?
like I was born like 5 minutes away from here, on Mills Hospital in downtown San Mateo, which is like it's I think even less than 5 minutes. But yeah, I was
Wow.
born here and I grew up in Manzanillo, Mexico, which is like a small little port. It's the most important port in the Pacific,
Hmm.
but it's not as far as tourism. It'd be Puerto Vallarta. That's like
Oh,
the
okay.
place. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, okay. So you were born in San Mateo and then you moved to Mexico?
yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Tell me about that.
So yeah, I basically wow, taking me back. I did my kindergarten all the way until let me see, seventh grade. Yeah, in Manzanillo, Mexico, and then
Okay.
from there I moved to Colima, which with my mom and my sister when my parents split up, and I was there for like two or 3 years, and
Hmm.
then in that in between, like they sent me to military school,
Oh, wow.
in in Indiana when I was like 14 years old, but I was
Hmm.
only there for like 2 months, 2 or 3 months, and then went back to Colima, finished my freshman year. No, well, I finished my sophomore year. I'm sorry, and
Uh-huh.
then junior year I moved here to California.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I did junior and senior year. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, I've been moving around a lot.
How did you get
Yeah.
into music?
Well, I've always loved music, and
Hmm.
when I was about maybe 20 or 21, I had a cousin that was living in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
and I stayed at his house for a few months, and I remember I started doing like the open mics, and
Hmm.
that and in that moment, like I actually did start writing songs and things like that, and I remember that I met this producer that ended up being kind of a scumbag. But I recorded an EP
Hmm.
with him, and then
At
from
20,
there
at 21, you said
at
like around
21.
So
Yeah.
what did you play guitar? Like, how did you learn guitar and like if
Well,
you're writing songs and stuff?
the thing is that my mother, she used to my mom, she plays guitar and she sings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And yeah, so she used to play songs for my sister and myself
Hmm.
when we were kids. And then like around when I was still in Colima, I had a friend at school that used to bring his electric guitar, and he used to play like some chords, and I remember just like getting really hooked into it. And then I asked my mom, because my mom had a guitar back then, she still has it, but I was like, hey mom, can you teach me, how to play guitar? So I remember the first chord she taught me was like the E chord, and I just
Hmm.
remember like being like really tough to play and stuff. And then she was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy you a guitar. And she bought me my first guitar. It was like this, yeah, nylon string, really, really cheap. But I loved it. I remember. I think I don't have it anymore. But yeah, she bought me that guitar, and then she got me a guitar teacher, and we started playing. And the first song I learned was "Losing My Religion,"
Oh, wow.
and that was
REM.
like yeah. That was the
Whoa,
first,
that's cool.
yeah. And I actually have a picture over there of like my mom she took a picture while I was taking my first guitar lessons, and then I just became like really hooked with wanting to learn. And back then, oh man, this was like more than 20 years ago. Um, there was this thing called tablature before
Uh-huh.
YouTube.
Oh,
You,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Ultimate guitar tab and all that
yeah. Of course,
stuff.
it's like they would. Do you play guitar?
I poorly, I can,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So it's like you see how like they put like the six strings, and they gave you like, if
The
it's like on the
numbers.
first string, yeah, it's like five,
Yeah.
five, 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 and you just
Yeah.
had to like learn, yeah, because you know, for people like me who I don't know how to read music, so
Yeah.
tablature was great, you know, and
That's how
so
I
that's how
learned
I learned.
too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it was the thing to do, man. It was like, because now of course everything's like YouTube tutorials and it's like
Uh-huh.
super awesome, but 98, 99, it was all about
Yeah.
the tabs, man. It was all about
Sure.
the tabs.
Yeah. That's so
Do you
funny.
ever wonder like who were the people that would take the time to write these tabs? I
Yeah.
mean, that's got to be like hours and hours, you know. It's like so
E-
meticulous.
Oh, I know. And then what would be funny is you'd see like somebody would tab it all out, and then it would be like this. There'd be like an updated version because the person didn't play it correctly, or like somebody else is like, no, you're not in the right, tuning or whatever. And then there'd be like another alternate version or another alternate version of the same song. You could
Yeah,
kind of
that
depict like which one you think is the actual like, version.
that was the way, man. That was the way we learned. I remember that, and I was like really, when I was growing up, I was like really into The Cure,
Uh-huh.
and I bought like all the albums and like the B-sides and the VHS and everything. And I remember like one of the first songs I learned was "Pictures of You," because that was
Mhm.
really easy. It was like dun 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 dun. I even remember. I was like, oh, that's how, being like in my grandmother's computer, because she had a computer, I didn't, and I used to
Mhm.
sit like in front of her computer with the guitar and just start like playing and stuff, and then I learned how to play chords, and then I started like writing like poets, really bad poetry and then I would put like melodies on top of it, and that's kind of how I got started. And I remember that 1998, like, yeah, November 98, my mom took me to go see Depeche Mode,
Cool.
and that's when I lost my shit, man. I was like,
This
I
is
mean,
it.
I didn't think I want to do that, you know, but it was like I spent all my time just like writing songs the whole freaking time after that, and just I just got like so passionate about it. I remember that like in high school, like a lot of the people in high school, like they would go to parties and they would talk about, you know, weed and acid and like getting drunk,
Mhm.
and I was just like, I was so obsessed with just writing songs, man. Like that was my thing back then. And of course, you know, as I grew older, I kind of got more into it, and then like now I use Logic Pro X
Mhm.
to, like, you know, record my stuff, and I'm terrible at it. I'm just really good at like using the sound effects, but I can't. I still can't record like an actual demo, you know.
Mhm.
But obviously with time, you know, it's like now I have like this keyboard that I bought, and I use like sound effects from there, and I still use a lot of the stuff from YouTube, like the
Mhm.
play me a little drum beat 140 BPM, you know, instead of doing it like on Logic.
Sure.
But yeah, dude, that's how I kind of just evolved into it. And then actually one of my best friends from Guadalajara,
Mhm.
he's actually like a really great producer, and I recorded like most of my songs with him.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so every time that I have like, you know, like a song, it's like, hey, I would go to over to the studio, and then we would just jam it out. And you know, and I realized later that, for instance, like for the song Runaway,
Mhm.
um you know, if I were to put you like the actual finished version with the demo,
Mhm.
it's like in the demo it was like 90% almost made, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so that's the type of that's the type of approach that I like having while writing the songs. And just and then obviously, you know, when I start working with Creative Entertainment Network and the Orchard,
Uh-huh.
they brought this great producer, and his name is Wes Sharon, and he just, the song already sounded really good, but when he worked on it, it sounded great.
Okay. He
And
just upped it to the next
yeah,
level kind of.
yeah, because I was still like, you know, struggling, and I mean, I still kind of am, but at least now, at least I know like I'm on the right direction, you know,
Mhm.
because before it
Sure.
was just like, it was just me, you know. And after like I record the songs, it's like, okay, now what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
So sorry, I've bumped.
Oh, you can cuss. It's you
Yeah.
can.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Great, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, and yeah, that's
Wow.
kind of how I got into it. Man, you took
Okay.
me way back talking about tablature. I forgot about that shit, man.
That's
Oh
funny. So
god.
you're okay.
Yeah.
You're in LA at 21. You
Yeah.
started open mic nights. Were those the first shows you ever had played
Yeah.
with people?
Yeah. I remember there was one in this place called Rainbow Bar and Grill that's on Sunset.
Yeah, I know. I know where that is.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
pretty famous. And Ron Jeremy goes there a lot. Unfortunately, I never ran into him, but there was one show that I did there, and I remember that usually like the wait list, because like for open mic, wow, man, like I can't believe it. Like I'd actually started to remember these things. For open mics, usually like like you go to coffee shops and it's like 5 or 10 people, and you just
Uh-huh.
wait like maybe like half an hour, 40 minutes. I remember that when I went to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, I waited for 4 hours.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I
You
could
know,
see that. That's like where Lemmy used to hang out, and like I
yeah, of
mean, that's a
course,
very
yeah,
like, and it's right
yeah,
next to the Roxy. It's like a it's a pretty historic, very
yeah. It's
like.
on Sunset, man.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
I can see
uh,
waiting 4 hours. Was it worth waiting the 4 hours though?
yeah, because after that, I remember that uh, a week later, I got a call from the promoter of the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and he
Mhm.
said, "You know what? We're doing a show." It was like maybe like 4 different acts, and I was the opener.
Wow.
So it was like really really cool thing. And then after that, I kind of I kept playing like locally, and kind of losing the whole like fear that you have, because I'm not that great of a guitar player. I just do chords. I can't like solo or do like the whole Jack Johnson thing. But obviously, that gave me a lot of confidence, and I was doing like a few covers, and then I would put like a song therein that I had written, and some of them were like in Spanish, and then I
Mhm.
would I would start playing like some Morrissey song, and so
Yeah.
it was really cool that I kind of started getting this bug of wanting to lose the fear,
Mhm.
and then time passed, and yeah, man, wow, it's been a long time. I'm 37 now. That's why
Okay.
for me to think about that, that's like really crazy. Was I 20? Let me see, 2004. I was 18. Let me see.
19 or
No, I
20.
was 20,
Maybe
22,
21.
22, 23. Yeah,
Yeah,
22, 23.
you're
Yeah,
about a year and a half older than me.
yeah, cool.
So I know the time frame. I can kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why
So
you know about tablature. If it was like some new
yeah.
kid is like, what the fuck's a tablature? It's like
Right.
now we do like tutorials.
Right. YouTube wasn't a thing.
Yeah, it
We were
wasn't. It
younger.
wasn't, man. I mean, I remember that like I used to love the B sides, man. And there was
Mhm.
one B side of The Cure that it was from the song High, and there was a song called The Big Hand. And dude, I can't tell you how much I struggled to get that freaking B side. I mean, now you go on YouTube and it's like The Big
Yeah.
Hand, The Cure, and it appears.
Yeah.
But back then,
Sure.
I had a friend in high school, and he was like, "Hey, I have the B side," and he actually recorded it for me like on a cassette.
Oh wow. Yeah. You dubbed
Yeah,
it from the
that was
CD.
the way. That
Oh
was the way
yeah.
to do it. And you couldn't order that shit on Amazon because there was no Amazon. It was just like
No.
the closest Tower Record store that you have, and if not, you're fucked. It's like
Yeah. Or hopefully your friend had the CD player that had the cassette player attached, so you could play. You could
exactly.
dub them all. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember doing
man.
that, like going to my buddy's house with just because you could get a blank cassette for like $1.
Yeah, of
Go
course.
in there and dubbing as many of his CDs as I could.
Did you ever like want to record like a song off the radio, and then like at the end it's like 93.7?
Oh, all the time.
And you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, or the DJ would talk over the front. I was on the radio for 15 years.
Yeah.
So I remember that I'd always talk about that, how like I would get so irritated when I'd try to record somebody or record a song because the DJ
Yeah.
would talk over the front of it,
Yeah.
up until the post or whatever. And then I would, that was my job to
Yeah.
do that. So I would always reference screwing up other people's recordings.
Did
Sorry
you?
if you're recording this.
Yeah.
But
So one question, like I actually thought about that, like not that long ago, and I was thinking, would the DJs do that so it would make you want to go get the CD or the tape? Because
talk over
it's
the
like,
front of it.
yeah, exactly. That I actually started thinking about that.
I think it's done because it drives the radio station continues to go. If you, it's kind of like it's weird. It's like a
It's like a
mind
calling
thing.
card. Oh, okay.
Kind of. Well, it's like if the music stops and you hear somebody start talking, people are automatically thinking, "Oh, this is going to be a commercial," and they're
Yeah.
going to change it. But if they can hear the next song already going, and you hear like Nirvana "Smells Like Teen Spirit" starting, and then the
Yeah.
guy's talking over it, it's like, oh well, at least I know this is going to still. There's still music coming. I want to
Got
hear
it.
the Nirvana song or whatever.
Yeah.
And as where if it's all stopped down, then it's kind of like, well, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna play something, or is he gonna go and am I gonna hear commercials? Like with
Yeah.
the music, like it kept people listening longer because they knew that the song was coming.
Oh, okay. I was actually thinking about that, and then I wonder if they do that because it's like, a lot of people don't want to buy the record; they'd rather just have that song, because back then you couldn't buy songs off iTunes. You had to get the whole freaking album for like what,
CD.
like $10, So it's like I was like, I wonder if they would do that because of that, It's like
To make
almost
sure
like,
that somebody wasn't
yeah,
recording it.
yeah, it's like
I mean,
people when they sell
maybe,
their
but
when they sell their beats on YouTube and stuff, like they'll put the whole beat, but in like the middle they'll be like DJ blah blah blah. Blah
oh yeah,
So
that'll
it's like,
do. Yeah. They'll like watermark it.
yeah, exactly. They'll put like at the beginning, then like in the middle, and then towards the end.
Right. Yeah. So you
So
can't.
it's like,
Yeah.
so you can't use it.
Right.
Oh
Right.
man.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, went off a tangent there.
Oh, it's all good, dude. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were playing shows in LA, and then
Yep.
what was the next thing that happened for you in your music career?
The next thing that happened for me was that it kind of was like in a huge halt. The huge thing that happened was like that nothing was really happening, and as I said, maybe this is like off the record, but I did get screwed over by like a producer, and that like really like injured me, and I was like, what, fuck the music business, fuck this, fuck that, and because when you're young, you're so hopeful and all you want to, have your music out and everything. And for a long time, I was just, I would still write songs, but I wasn't like pursuing anything. Luckily, I met my friend who's a producer, the one from Guadalajara, the one that I was telling you about, when I was when I was around like 27.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, I remember that I was dating this girl. She was in Canada, and I remember that I was in Guadalajara in that moment. And I said to my friend, "Hey, do you know anybody who does recordings? Like a producer or anything like that?" He's like, "Yeah, my good friend Aldo." So
Mm-hmm.
I went over to Aldo's and I worked with him, and then from there, I think that by me working with him, it really inspired me to want to get my music out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because up to that point, from like 20, 22, 23 until I was like 27, I really wasn't doing anything, and I would still like write songs, but I was kind of just like, I remember that I even had like a few jobs. Like I worked at Abercrombie, and I worked like front desk.
Yeah,
and
just trying to make money so you can keep playing.
Yeah. And then, but then definitely when I met Aldo, it working with him inspired me to want to, pursue. So I would write songs and record them. And then from there, I was like, I think I want to, get out there a little bit more. And then I did meet some people that were like involved in the music business, definitely in Mexico, but
Mm-hmm.
it really, nothing was happening for me, like absolutely nothing. And then eventually, like about 2 years ago, I
Mm-hmm.
was actually working with this company that they were okay, but they weren't that great. and I met somebody who did my first my media training. Her name is Julie Lichtenstein,
Mm-hmm.
and I was after she did my media training, for some reason, like I always had her in the back of my mind, and I called her. I actually called her like 2 years later, which was, last November or December, and I was like, you know what, I want to, hire you so you can give me some consulting, so
Mm-hmm.
to kind of see what I can do, and she's, and I remember that, the first we had like 2 or 3 consulting sessions, and in one of them, she actually told me, well, Jay, what is it that you want to do? You're kind of like all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
and I said to her, you know what, Julie, like what I actually want to do is just, I really want to perform. That's what I want to do. I'm going to perform music, and then she said to me, classic story. I have a friend who might be able to help you.
Of
so
course.
I actually, yeah, and but in that, I still remember that when she told me, like I was disillusioned by so much stuff that had happened to me in the past. People that would promise me things, and that
Mm-hmm.
I knew that they were like in the power of like they knew people, and they would tell me, I'm gonna, help you out, and that I would believe it, but when Julie told me, I was like, okay, cool, but at the same time, like I was still like, I hope it's not bullshit.
Yeah.
And then like it was, let me see, when was it? It was March of this year.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote me a message. She's like, okay, I'm gonna connect you with Adam Pollock and Vinny Rich from Creative Entertainment Network. So she connected me, and I remember that I was just leaving the Subway, which that's like my favorite place to get salads because it's a lot cheaper than like the other places.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to get my salad, and then I was getting out of and then so in that moment, Adam called me, and I went inside my car, and they put the Bluetooth on, and we just had this long conversation. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, I wish I would have met you guys when I was like 22 or 23. Because it just felt like finally there was, these two guys that believed in what I was doing, for such a long time. I had just been like recording songs and, meeting people, but I was pretty much like always on my own, and thinking sometimes like, yo, like this is fucking bullshit, but then eventually, this happened, and something I left out was that I had also tried being in cover bands,
Oh, okay.
but
Mm-hmm.
nobody wanted me in their cover band. Like I was like, I
Why
sucked.
not?
To be honest, and the funny thing is that I've actually thought about this a lot. I wasn't good at singing other people's music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, songs that are staples in cover bands. I mean, when I think like cover band, I always think of like Sweet Child O' Mine. It's like the most
Mm-hmm.
overplayed
Right.
freaking song. And then like Living on a Prayer is
Oh
another
yeah.
one. And I actually hate those songs. But I also like, and the voices are like too high. And I always had like a deeper register.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody freaking wanted me like in their band. Nobody, which I think really like put a chip on my shoulder. And it made me want to be like, okay, well, if I can join anybody, I'm just going to write my own songs, and I'm not that great of a songwriter, but at least I have the very little elements I have. I really try to exploit them the most, to the most, and I make my songs mine. So and I think to myself like, I wonder if I would have been part of the cover band, if I would have tried to pursue music more like on with my own type of thing, because I was so desperate. Man. There were moments when I was like, I'll just be in a cover band. I'll, whatever. But I would always, they would always tell me, yeah, you're good. But then I would always get like substituted by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of what happened. And, now after, going forward, after I spoke to Vinny and Adam, and they started kind of really believing in me and everything started taking like a shape and
Mm-hmm.
form. And they were like, hey, like send me all your music, and I sent them all my music, and most of them were just like demos. I had done like a few productions with Aldo, but most of them were just demos. And then when Vinny heard the song Runaway, he just lost his shit. He was like, we got to do this. And I was like, really? Like that guitar riff, like I actually recorded it, you know. It was like those 22 demos that I did with Aldo were never meant to see the light of day. I mean, because like I never thought that I would like cuss, like, because I do say the word fuck in that song. And I remember telling Aldo, I was like, hey, you know, since this is just a song to kind of like, you know, screw around with, will you let me play the guitar on it? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I just played it, and eventually, and then when I heard, you know, the final mix, I was like, holy shit, that's the guitar that I actually recorded. But I don't know, like it just had like so much personality. I mean, it's not the greatest song or ever, but it has like this grit that for some reason, like when I hear it, I'm really drawn to it. And I think that I also identify with the song because it's like, I didn't believe in the song, just like I also didn't believe in myself. But then suddenly there's like this group of people that are like, oh my God, that song sounds like really good. And then I started believing also in the power of my own music. I still have a lot of self-doubt, but when it comes to my songs, that's what makes me like,
yeah, it's pretty
it gives purpose.
validating for
Yeah.
having them telling you like, hey, this is really good.
Yeah, because if it wasn't for that, like I was like, no, I'm fucked. You know, it's like I don't know how to believe in myself. I love my songs, but I don't know how to believe in myself. So I just let the songs do the work, man.
Sure. I love the song. It's totally like it's kind of pop, it's kind of punk rock, but it's got like a Billy Idol kind of feel to me, or like I don't know.
If you ever go on YouTube, which you probably will, there's a song, the song that actually inspired Runaway. It's a song by a band called the Cockney Rejects, and the song is called Beginning of the End.
Beginning of the End.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, like I had been listening to Nevermind the Bollocks, which is the Sex Pistols album. Yeah. But the song that when I actually started writing the song was after I heard Beginning of the End by the Cockney Rejects. So check it out. I think it's a great song. Like I don't know, and like what's really cool about it is that like Runaway is a very punk rock song type, but it's still a pop song. Like I don't see I don't see myself as a punk rocker. So you know, because for me, like true punk would be like MC5, Black Flag, the Kumasi, you know. but like it has that fusion, you know, of I don't know.
Yeah, like it has like
punk.
Yeah, like the undertones of like some of that. It's not like punk, but like kind of more like a Ramones punk, I guess would be.
Kind of. Yeah, definitely.
I like it. It's cool. So is it going to be part of an EP, a record? What do you?
LP.
Oh, an LP, right?
Yeah. It's like, is it nine songs? Yeah, is 9 songs an LP or an EP? It's an LP, right?
I think so. Yeah, EPs are usually about 5.
Yeah. It's an LP, and it's so funny because like, it hasn't been launched yet, but it's really funny because like, it's like my picture, and then like it says Runaway, and it has the letter E, which is like the explicit thing, because I say the word fuck. But I mean that's how much of like an underdog song for me, because it was like, you know, it was never meant to see the light of day. And I remember when I spoke to Aldo about it, the producer from Mexico, you know, and I remember I told him, hey, you know, I need to send these songs over, these demos. And he said, which ones? And I was like, the ones that we did like back in 2013, 14. What? Like he didn't even remember. And then like he looked them up and he was like, really? Like they want those songs? And I was like, yeah, apparently. So, and there were 22 songs to be exact. And the reason why I know this is because Vinny called me the next day. He's like, I listened to 22 of your fucking and the funny thing was that like Runaway was like number 20 or some shit like that.
Oh, so on the list. So
yeah.
The track listing. So he's like, oh
exactly.
My
it was on SoundCloud. And So I remember that it was 22 because he was very like 22 songs and it was like number 20. Oh God,
That's
ironies of
funny.
life, right?
Yeah. And you just
And
released the video for Runaway also, right?
yeah, it was. It only has like 114,000 views.
That's a lot of views.
You think so? I
Yeah.
wish I had more, but yeah,
Well,
it's a good
coming out the
start.
music video. Yeah, it's a really good start.
Well, the music video we basically with Jessica Ricciuti, who's she's the one who does my social marketing. Um, we did it since because of the social distancing and everything.
Mhm.
It was actually Vinny's idea. I think he was like, "Hey, why don't we just record? Use your computer screen as like the video recorder." So we basically did the video through like Skype,
Oh,
and
wow.
she was recording the whole freaking thing. And my room was like a freaking mess, man. Like it was, so because I had to put like find the right place where the computer had like good lighting.
Mhm.
So we had to do like 3 or 4 different shots, and I didn't have a guitar strap. So I actually used like one of my belts as a guitar strap. And so it was crazy, man. But it was kind of fun. And and I remember there were moments when I was like doing it, recording. I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" Because it was like it was just like me, and then like Jessica was like on the computer. We were skyping,
Sure.
and but then the end result was that it was everybody was just happy with the way the video came out, and I was happy as well. Because the editor did a fantastic job, because we kind of wanted to make it like really, nice to the eye, something
Mhm.
entertaining. As I like, that's also because it's really cool, because it's also my type of vision as well, which is like very entertaining to the eye. As I said, kind of like a Kill Bill movie, where
Mm.
it's like everything like, and lights
Right.
and, kind of like way over the top.
Sure.
Because it's supposed to be entertaining, I think. I
Mhm.
don't know. So
No.
and it's supposed to look good, kind of
Mhm.
cool. And so yeah, that was the whole history behind the video. And just I never done that before, because I had been like, I did a few music videos, but that were with a little bit more budget.
Mhm.
But this one, we wanted to make something like really, I don't want to say like not professional, but
Like DIY?
what's that?
DIY? Kinda like do
What's
it
DIY?
yourself, like do it
Kind
yourself,
of, yeah, yeah,
kinda?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to experiment a little bit. And it was really cool because it put me in a position where I felt vulnerable,
Mhm.
which I think is always great. I think it's always great to remove the safety net and to try different things.
Sure.
And I was like, and I was so happy because the more that I allowed myself to kind of feel vulnerable, and as I said, remove the safety net, more people started getting involved in
Mhm.
my music and the project. And and Dana Gordon, who's the person who does my press, she's been sending me all the links of people that have been promoting the song. And everybody likes the video and the song and everything. So it's been really cool. And it's taken a long time in the making. But now, hey, now I'm being interviewed by you, so that's really cool.
Right, there you go. Right on. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. I
Oh,
have
thank
one
you,
more
man.
question for you. I want to know if you have
Yeah.
any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh my God. Advice. Oh, can I expound?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think the most important thing is to, and I say this because I know people who are singer songwriters like myself, and we all kind of, what we most want is for people to want to listen to our music.
Mhm.
Definitely to find a producer that you feel comfortable with. If you don't know one, get Aldo Munoz, my producer. He's amazing. And just allow yourself to try different things. Many times I think that and I saw this a lot when I'd be working with Aldo in the studio. There were moments when he would say, I think we should try this. And when I would feel insecure, there was a part of me that didn't want to. It was like, no, that's not the way that the song is. I wrote it, and so many times we get confused, and we don't realize that that's our ego talking. Because obviously, it's like when you write a song, you always have. I think that it's inevitable that you always, even though you're not a producer, you always have like a vision of what the song is supposed to sound like. And when you have somebody, break that, that obviously puts you in a very vulnerable place, and your ego comes out. And I was going to say 99.9% of the time, but 100% of the time, when you just try something different, like for some reason it just works awesome, where you're like, oh my God, like I would have never thought that was going to sound great, And so I don't know, to just be open and be flexible and to allow yourself to try different things, rather than saying, I'm not like that. I'm a pop artist, or I'm a punk rock artist. I'm not going to try something else. Just be open, because at the end of the day, what matters the most, I think, are the songs. If you have great songs, it will open the doors for you, and people will want to be involved in your project. And you don't have to have the best producer or the best plugins or the best equipment. If you have a great song like that, that's always people are gonna want to resonate with you, because just I think that's what music does. And I have to say this, I do remember meeting people in Guadalajara which is where I worked most of the songs, all of them. And Aldo would tell me, you have no idea how many times I have to deal with artists who come here and they get like 3 or 4 different producers to work, and then they get like different mixers and and then the songs kind of lose the magic, because rather than focusing on the song, you're so focused on wanting to get like the best people and the best plugins and the best this, the best that you lose perspective of just the magic of just having a great freaking song and letting it take flow. And so yeah, just being open and just keep going at it. I mean, I started when I was like 22, 23, 21. Now I'm 37, and finally things are starting to happen just this year.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep going, and surround yourself with positive people. Get rid of the negativity, and when you're working on a song, think of the song. Don't think about you. It's like a freaking canvas. You have to think about the painting. This thing, it's also think about making a great song. Just let it flow. Bringing it backward.